All right, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. Yeah, it's still me. It is Tuesday, November 10th, 2020, and yes, we have to talk yet again. Some of the things I'm going to mention are going to shock you. Like JP Morgan just got caught rigging the market again. How many arrests are you expecting to see? 3, 4, 10? How about 0? It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. These Wall Street mega banks, one after the other, but none more so than JP Morgan, gets caught rigging every single aspect of this market that you can even think about, things that we probably can't even dream about. But over and over again, what happens? Slap on the wrist, little fine, no arrests. Well, I guess that's what happens when you rule the world. Let's move forward here. So the stock market, what happened today? Well, kind of a bizarre action, but we'll cut through it here. The Dow Jones Industrial Average put on a nice gain, like 260 something points, about 0.9%. The Nasdaq fell over 1%, and the S&P 500 finished slightly in the negative. You want my opinion? I bet you do. This market needs to drop. Will it drop from where it is? I have no idea. There's some kind of crazy euphoria going on here in the stock market, and it's being driven by many facets here. One of those is crude freaking oil, which is now $41 a barrel. And again, it has no business being here whatsoever. I mean, it's so massively inflated, crude oil, but you know why? Banks like JP Morgan, the other investment banks, they will prop up the price of crude oil. I've been talking about this since like forever. And so just expect that charade to continue, along with the stock market charade. Let's move on. You got the 10-year yield here, 0.95. Okay, yet the stock market didn't do too much. So what does this mean? Number one, 10-year yield is kind of stable here. But all that cash that has now left the debt market is still kind of in limbo. It doesn't know what to do, whether the market's going to make another jump higher, or is the market going to give a little bit back? Look, is the market stupid? That is debatable, but there's no doubt that the market is massively freaking overvalued. So, and it's gone pretty much straight up here, new record highs yesterday. We need to give some back. I believe sincerely that this market is going higher. But to do that, we need the market to give back a little bit. You understand? That's how markets work. They don't go straight up. We look for pullbacks. I have no idea if we're going to get one. I really don't. But for my lions out here, I am in the final stages of my new trading system. And I'm working on it a lot. It sounds like the China trade deal. Sorry. But I'm making fun of myself. Okay, I am. But sincerely, I'm starting to trade with it in real time using real money. First started today. I must make sure it works and I can interpret the data correctly before I start trading with it and telling all of you what I am doing, because I want us to win. You know that. This is the most critical stage of... I put so much work into this, but I hope it works. I mean, it may not work. I might end up losing a lot of money here. But I'm going to get it right for us. I really am. Worst case scenario, I'll go back to the old system, which we did phenomenal with. I mean, we can't argue. But I always am looking for that edge, okay, to get better, to get more information. This is a game of information. However, it's a game of incomplete information because it's always changing. That's what I feel, at least, is the greatest challenge. The markets are not static. They're extremely fluid. You got things changing all the time. So, you're gathering information. Everything looks great all of a sudden, just one little thing changes and everything changes. So with that said, this is why it's so freaking complicated. Now let's talk about a few less complicated things here. Gold and silver got bid higher. JP Morgan, yeah, they're rigging the market, okay? You got cryptocurrencies here under a little pressure as right now. But again, with regard to metals, with regard to cryptocurrencies, in this environment of ballooning debt, which will not stop, we're going to talk more about that in a second, that's where you need to be. So, with regard to debt, we heard from the Federal Freak Show Reserve. Now, the Federal Reserve, I want you to sit down for this one. Take a deep breath, right? Let's do this together. The Federal Reserve is floating out. This is completely fake. They're floating out the possibility that they might be trimming down on their purchases of corporate debt. Let that sink in. They're floating out a story here that maybe, possibly, they're going to stop buying debt of multi-billion dollar, some of these are trillion-dollar corporations here. How about no? How about they're not going to do it? How about they're going to increase it? Okay, that's the fact. When you hear a central bank tell you they're going to do one thing, you must realize they're going to do the polar opposite. Now let's talk more about the lovely Federal Reserve. We have a barf bag, anyone? Just, feed it through the camera. So the Federal Reserve is now on top of, thinking that they might be trimming back their purchases of corporate debt. They're already issuing what we're allowed to see, 120 billion, a minimum, at least, $120 billion a month of asset purchases. Okay, lovely. We're talking about debt here. The Federal Reserve is now thinking of how they're going to play the debt game moving forward. Now, I'm going to give you one big, fat, ugly guess. Exactly. They're going to buy more. They have to and will fulfill their end game. This is their sole existence since 1913. So they can say anything that they want to. Oh, we're going to cut back on corporate debt purchases. Oh, we're going to rethink our strategy with regard to buying everything else. All it means is they're going to buy more. They are going to buy more. Mass debt issuance on an unprecedented epic scale that I don't think many of you, well, most of you who follow this blog get it. But this is where we are at. It's unprecedented. And it's not just the Federal Reserve. These are the other central banks around the world doing the same things. It's not going to stop. And the other thing that we need to watch for, people, you need to watch for this, is the transition from the dollar in its current form to this devalued digital dollar. That's coming too. So just be ready for all this. So we got all kinds of beautiful things to look forward to. Trillions upon trillions of dollars in more debt. Created out of thin air. Think about that. This is the Federal Reserve. They're going unchecked. This is what they've been doing here since they were called upon to do it in 2008 all the way through until today. And it won't stop. It's only going to get much worse. So understanding these concepts, understanding that banks like JP Morgan are going to get caught rigging the market over and over and over again, and nothing will happen, you can understand the situation we're in. It's absolutely bizarro world to the highest order. So again, look, let's just summarize here real quick. Yes, another little rally, well, kind of a rally on Wall Street. Dow Jones Industrial Average did nicely. NASDAQ under pressure. Tech needs to turn around for this market to move higher. That's the truth. But this market needs to give back. Will we get it? No idea. We're going to see how this plays out moving forward here. The market is giddy on more heroin, on the thought of more debt. That's really what this all is. The market wants to go up because it realizes that more debt is coming. And this is a burden on the United States like it's been since 2008. Our country is gone. We got, banks getting caught red-handed, rigging the market over and over again. I mean, this is where we're at. And I think you get it if you follow this blog. But it's so simple to beat from a couple of standpoints. Again, the easiest thing to do here, again, I'm gonna go back, is to be betting against this debt and becoming your own central bank. Let them play their game. Let the banks play their game too. Let them rig the markets. They're not going to get in trouble. No arrests. You know why there's no arrests? Because people don't say anything. Could you imagine if, let's say, I don't know, I got I don't even know how many thousand people I have, 140,000 people maybe following my blog. Imagine if 140,000 people got together and just started talking about how the banks are rigging the markets, or maybe, I don't know, demanded action. I don't know. Maybe something would get done. Probably not. I sincerely believe that the CEO of a Wall Street mega bank can do anything. They can get away with any crime. Anything. They're too powerful. They are untouchable. And that's a shame, because it shouldn't be that way. All right, look. Did I miss anything here? I covered gold and silver were higher. Cryptocurrencies under pressure. Okay, whatever. You got the 10-year yield. People, keep your eye on that 10-year yield. 0.95. Is that cash going to go back into the debt market? Are stocks going to fall? Or is it going to stay where it is, or maybe even move higher, and our stocks going up? I mean, that's the real question here. It's a market that is so twisted. It is so distorted. And these issues are only getting worse by exponents as the debt bubble continues to balloon. Make sense? All right, I'm out of here. Love you a lot. Please share the video. See you tomorrow.